Guys, it's me. So unfortunately the format is like this, as in the angle's a bit weird, but let me tell you, one of my family members had the tripod and they broke it, and I only found out now, so I have to get a new one. So for now it's kind of like this, but in this video, this isn't an uncensored late night talk, only because I kind of wrote down what I wanted to say. But as you can see by the title, do Westerners have a victim complex? Have you ever heard people complain about Westerners saying things like,
they don't have it bad, they create issues out of nothing, other countries or people have it worse, don't exaggerate or find problems where they don't exist, this is such a non-issue, and whataboutism?
These are some things that I've heard people say before throughout the years, and while I understand where they might be coming from, it doesn't mean anybody's voices or observations should be shut down simply because it's not bad enough. We have issues others don't, and others have issues we don't. Yeah, obviously some things are worse than others, more tragic, more severe, and we should pay attention to them and help them and attend as much as we can. I'm not saying that, so don't hear what I'm not saying. However, it doesn't mean we should ignore when people blow the whistle or point out some warning signs or red flags of other things that might not be as serious, because you know what? One day it could get to that. The people who say that Westerners make up problems out of nothing are going to be the same people criticizing them again for not having done anything sooner if things get bad. Right? So I made a video recently that was supposed to be one of my late night videos again. It's basically some thoughts I ended up writing down in that moment. Basically some possible explanation why a lot of my generation in the West is the way it is. I'm also going to talk about some like takeaways and some solutions maybe that we can think of in the end. So I'm sorry, just one more thing before I insert the clip. I don't want to say things that are anecdotal in this video, but I really do believe that these things are happening. There's statistics, there's proof. I think if you talk to a lot of people, you'll see them say the same thing. You know, being so connected to like the digital stuff, digital age, how the digital age affects us, especially in the workforce, the lack of relationships, the lack of like social interaction, the social awkwardness, people not wanting to get married or have kids. But you know what? We make really good activists. Things like that. And I... Is a man here? I think that there's proof that backs this up. Let's get on with this video. I'm gonna play that clip here. It is like really late here. If you guys... No. This light is weird. So I wrote this down, and I was also asking some people I know on their thoughts and opinions on this, because I want to hear different perspectives, especially because I know people that come from different countries. It's kind of my speculation as to why it seems like my generation, Gen Z, is very lost. It is very kind of like living in their own world. This is what I wrote. Despite the time it is right now, there's a lot running through my head on this topic. First of all, I believe from the Western perspective, there's a lot of propaganda involved. A lot of social media telling young impressionable girls, per se, that we cannot trust anybody, we cannot be safe on the streets, everybody's out to get us, you know, constantly trying to fearmonger. Also with like the news always showing everything negative and showing break-ins, and this brought me back to this point that I was trying to make with this person. I was saying it's crazy our self-defense laws in Canada, they're not good enough. And basically somebody's like, oh, you know, you don't have to worry about, like, this was in some comments, some forum, oh, you don't have to worry about this, don't happen, and blah blah, trying to basically say like, oh, I don't need to protect myself, it doesn't matter, the statistics are low. These are justifiable fears, especially with, you know, crime rising and all that stuff, that now they want to make you think that you're, you know, too paranoid. Like I laughed at that. I'm like, okay buddy. What I'm trying to say is there was a lot of fear instilled into our heads. Anyways, yeah, moving on. Also, all the extreme ideologies between men and women that are making them fight each other and have highly unrealistic standards. There always seems to be a push to just stay on your phones and stay inside and have a bunch of online friends rather than go out into the outside world, and AI will definitely make this problem worse. I already know. It's sad that sometimes you feel more connected to people that are like thousands and thousands of kilometers away than somebody in your own neighborhood. I also think that since we have a melting pot of diverse cultures, it is different, and sometimes it can be harder than if everybody had a shared history, language, religion, or ethnicity. And what I mean by this is I feel like those who live in countries with like that are focused more on one group don't really get the social aspect or the social situation of people living in Western countries, where it is literally a melting pot. I'm so used to different cultures that I don't bat an eye to anybody. Like, I had friends of all different ethnicities, and in fact, I always say this, but it's true. So I also feel like that's part of it too, because now I feel like there's more division and more tension between religious groups, ethnic groups, etc. So yeah, and the media is fueling this problem. Where am I? Okay. There's also a lot of speculation that it's the food we're eating and all the chemicals, which they're not wrong. If you compare the food ingredients to what we have here compared to Europe, regulations are so much different here, and even worse in the United States, because I'm in Canada. They add so many unnecessary chemicals. Like, I'm just looking for something so simple, let's say a cereal I can eat, and it's so hard to find simple things. And when you find simple things, they are so expensive, or they have ingredients somebody might be allergic to. Like, you can never find like 1 or 2 ingredient things. That's why I love making a lot of my own stuff. Like, I made these DIY homemade onion rings with no dairy, no MSG, no gluten, no eggs. They're so good. Literally, you gotta improvise. Yeah, but it's true. You start reading like all these food dyes, red 40, yellow, they're literally admitting that it causes issues like hyperactivity. They're admitting it. This isn't some conspiracy. It's clear that there's so many chemicals, plastics, these chemicals that are in, you know, skincare, hair care, food, sometimes the air and the water, that are causing a lot of health issues that is not some speculation, some hidden secret. It does cause issues. So, by the way, I'm not adding anything about overbearing parents or super anxious or paranoid ones, but looking at it from a more societal perspective, I'm also not adding people who've had drastic things happen in their life, like traumatic events, big health problems, huge financial issues. Although people can always pick themselves up at one point and keep going, I'm just speaking more in general right now. I also think people are lacking confidence and they overthink a lot. They're thinking if they make one mistake, it's over for them. Like one failed relationship,
I'll never find love. Love is not real.
One failed job opportunity, or something didn't go the way they planned.
I'm not smart, or will never be good enough.
Very, very high expectations put onto themselves. On top of that, mental health issues run rampant. And this could be due to any of the above factors I stated, you know? With that being said, this is what comes to mind right now, and also why I think the pendulum is swinging a lot with young people, opening up their eyes, realizing things, wanting to kind of go in the reverse. They want a more simple, simplistic, healthier way of life, and I get it. I'm very similar. I don't blame them. It's overwhelming, and it feels like it's easy to lose your health and your mind and your sanity. So with that being said, the question I have for you guys is, why do you think all of this is happening? Why do you think my generation are in the position they're in? I just want to make it clear that I'm not saying that people should accept their fate, accept what has happened to them, and just sit and mope. I'm not saying that at all, okay? So please, again, don't hear what I'm not saying. What I'm saying here is that this is some possible explanation, things that are kind of ingrained into people's heads at an early age, and are some things that are kind of hard to get rid of or hard to unlearn or deprogram yourself from thinking and all that stuff. And because a lot of it, I feel like it goes into the subconscious. It's something that's hard to get out of. If you're told something for long enough, there is a quote: if you're told a lie for long enough, you will start to believe it's the truth. So I think that's what also has happened to my generation that grew up online and grew up on the digital age and all that stuff. I think the solutions are pretty easy, and these are individualized solutions. So maybe societal solutions can be a bit different, but I definitely think actually spending time off of social media, deleting them. So as I've mentioned before, I have a video on this. I deleted my social medias, the mainstream ones, and I'm so glad I did, and I do not plan to go back on them. I would say to try not to constantly check the news and pop culture. Don't keep up with celebrities, Hollywood, pop culture, trends. When you get off social media and you're just actually living without this stuff, you'll start to see that things are actually different than they are on social media, and everything is exaggerated and blown out of proportion online. What else did I say? So onto the food. I would definitely say, please, y'all, try to eat healthy. I have cut out so much from my diet that it's not even funny, and it's not really because I wanted to. It's because of basically what happened to me, which is, again, a long story. But I basically do not eat most things that the average Westerner eats. And even in other countries, y'all eating, if you're eating chocolates, cake, even things like dairy, I know it's bad. I cut out so many foods that you wouldn't even believe. And again, a lot of them I didn't want to. It's just the way it occurred. But I would definitely say to please try your best. I know that sometimes it's expensive, but to try your best to get organic things and make things at home. Like I mentioned, I made these homemade onion rings. They were really good. For example, if you want a chip with a lot of seasoning in it, rather than getting the chips with MSG and all this seasoning, take the plain ones that have a few ingredients. Even though they are processed, they're better than the ones with MSG and titanium dioxide and all these chemicals. Just take some garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, chili, oregano, whatever you want, and shake it and eat it. I've done something similar. It wasn't bad. Or making your own ice cream. There's a way when it comes to 35% heavy whipping cream with condensed milk, and you make your own ice cream without the added chemicals. Making your own French fries at home. These are all more unhealthy foods if you really want to have a treat once in a while. Oatmeal cookies, things like that. Just try to find substitutions and alternatives. I would say get your blood checked. It's Simply Health now, but get your vitamins checked. Do a lot of research. I would say do tons of research. Do a lot lot of digging. I know that, you know, you might go to the doctor, but also try to do your own research as well. Probiotics, look into low stomach acid. There's so many explanations for things that are happening mentally that could be physical. You know, my condition that I have might actually cause all the mental symptoms. So sometimes I don't know what I really have. You know, it's very confusing sometimes, but try your best. And just remember praying as well. Just disconnect. Try to eat healthy, get fresh air, just all the basic stuff. Drink a lot of water, guys. I noticed a difference when I started drinking a lot of water. And yeah, those are just some solutions. I don't want to make this a long video, but let me know down below what you guys think some of the solutions. And please, guys, try to also make it attainable. If somebody says move away and start a farm, as much as that's an amazing idea, I feel like people will look at that and just be like, that's impossible, right? So you can say that those are long-term, but also try to find short-term solutions or things that are easier for individuals to do, because that's what I touched upon here. Because sometimes people, they need to hear like the short-term, easier ones as well. Maybe I'll make a part 2 because there's so many more ideas, but I want to keep this video as short as possible. Let me know what you thought down below, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys.